Thank you very much for attending this session. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizers of FEL 2021 for giving us the opportunity to share this project with all of you. A project that is entitled Graduates' Perceptions Concerning Academic Writing in English in an EFL Context. It's important to remark that this project has been sponsored by Dirección General de Apoyo al Personal Académico at UNAM, and also that the project has been supervised by Dr. María del Carmen González Videgaray. And it's a project which has been conducted during my postdoctoral studies at FES Acatlán, UNAM. The aim of this talk is to give you an overview of the perceptions and factors that deserve attention to foster the development of postgraduates as writers in the EFL context. And then the structure of this talk is, firstly, I will explain in a very brief way the rationale of the study. Then I will describe the methodology followed by some of the results. Afterwards, I will move on discussing some of the main results, and eventually I will present the final conclusions. But before starting with the explanation of the rationale, I would like to share how my interest on academic writing research began. And it was during my PhD studies, a time when I struggled a lot on academic writing skills while I was writing my thesis, a thesis that is mandatory to get the doctoral degree. Thus, this problematic was one of the reasons that inspired me to look for alternatives or other strategies that help me manage my academic writing skills and be able to write academic texts in a more effective way. Among some of the strategies that I used were my enrollment on different academic writing courses in English. And also, I was part of the Writing Center staff, in which I was in charge of helping master students while writing their dissertations in English. And also, I volunteered to be one of the reviewers in one English journal at the University of Southampton. All these experiences and strategies helped me manage my academic writing skills and also learn a lot on this field. However, it was not enough. When I returned to Mexico, I accepted and decided to be part of the academic writing team, originally invited by Dirección General de Cooperación e Internacionalización at UNAM, and also in collaboration with the FES Acatlán, in which I am conducting this study. So all these experiences and strategies contributed so my academic writing skills developed, and also I become into a better writer. But also I would like to continue researching on this ability because I would like to contribute to knowledge and also be able to help others manage their writing skills. But what is writing and what is academic writing? Writing is a cognitive process, a process that also involves different processes in an iterative way, which means that the writer will move back and forward as needed while he is writing. Academic writing is the type of prose that is written from scholars to scholars and is based generally on literature consulted and the thoughts of the authors that are producing the knowledge. This type of prose involves several features, such as that it should be written in an organized way, it should be clear and concise, it should be written in a persuasive way, and it should be valuable. By valuable, I mean that they should contribute, or the information should contribute to knowledge. And academic writing in English is the prose written, but in a language that is different from our first language, in this case, Spanish. Thus, academic writing in English is highly important at higher education because university students are many times required to write assignments, to write dissertations, to write reports, to write also some research papers in which they publish the research that they are conducting. And these publications generally are on international journals that accept papers written in English. Therefore, academic writing is crucial to succeed at university or at higher education. However, many second language learners of English struggle when writing in English and when writing academic texts in English. And this is because they have not had enough information or enough instruction on academic writing skills. And thus, they experience a lot of anxiety and insecurity, and many times they are demotivated and doesn't want to continue writing or publishing in English. But there are many studies that suggest that we have advanced a lot on the research about academic writing in English. However, there is still more research needed, especially in the EFL context, because many of the studies conducted have been done in English-speaking countries, and also with native speakers or with international students who are immersed in the English-speaking context and on using English on a daily basis. This means that they have different characteristics and also different needs in comparison to the students in the EFL context, and thus we need to do more research. And all this discussion help us decide on research and academic writing in English in the EFL context to answer what are the factors in which the EFL postgraduates need support to develop as academic writers. And as we are talking about English for academic purposes, different studies and scholars have suggested that one of the methodologies that can be useful is the needs analysis. The needs analysis is a methodology that allows us to identify directly from the university students and academics the needs that they have. And based on the information that we collect, we can then design or craft the courses, the curriculum, select texts, and also develop materials for academic writing purposes. Thus, we decided to design a survey based on the needs analysis methodology, and this survey included different sections. One section about demographics, one section about perceptions on English, on writing, and also on affective factors in terms of academic writing, and another section in which the participants had to ask some questions about the needs that they have in terms of academic writing in English. The survey was piloted and also was analyzed for internal consistency, and the Cronbach's alpha showed an 85%, which is good. All the data was collected from March to June in 2020. The participants were 63. They were a convenient sample. They were from 4 different disciplines, such as mathematics and engineering, biology, chemistry and health sciences, social sciences, and the humanities and arts. There were 40 professors, 8 researchers, and 15 students. They were all in the EFL context in Mexico at this university. They were male and female, averaging 48 years old. All the data was tabulated to compute the scripted statistics, and also the open answers were analyzed in an inductive, deductive, and content analysis was used as well. All this was to have more reliable results. Now I will turn into the results. In terms of the affective factors and proficiency, it's clear that many of the students or the participants experience insecurity and also stress. It was only an 11% of postgraduates who feel confidence when writing in English. In fact, writing is not their best ability for the majority of the participants as opposed to reading. And also, many of these participants perceive their writing ability as not very good or bad. It was also a 62% of postgraduates who feel not good at writing, and most of the participants also need to learn academic writing in English, especially to write research papers and also to present in conference or conventions. English proficiency was not very good for many of them. Many of them were at an intermediate or lower level. The participants were asked about in which of their writing processes they needed the most support. And many of the participants said that they need support, especially on editing and polishing. But a small percentage of the postgraduates who needed the most support on publishing, rewriting, and drafting. The participants were also asked about knowledge needed to develop as academic writers, and also what was the type of expected learning from an academic writing course in English. Although there were slight differences across the different fields, we are focused just on the factors or the results from the factors that we enlisted on the question. The results indicate that across fields, there is a 65% of postgraduates that expect to learn grammar and 68% also that expect to learn language or the language and the function, also with a 75% of the postgraduates across the disciplines. However, learning the L1 and the L2 writing styles and language differences are aspects that were not highly expected. The participants were also asked about which were their strengths in terms of academic writing in English. And in general, many of them said that they are strong in the text format or on knowledge about the text format, but they are not very strong on grammar and punctuation. All these results indicate that more than 50% of the postgraduates across the different disciplines are weak in each of these enlisted factors. These tables show us the results when the students were asked about the features that a text should cover, and also what was the needed knowledge to write those texts. As you can see, they are aware of different features about the text, but they also need knowledge about those features that they are aware of. Although time and opportunity was an answer not very frequently addressed, it's important to remark it because time is a factor that inhibits the writing ability of the writers as writers. An opportunity because they said that they are not given as many opportunities as they would to write in English across their study fields. Now I will move on discussion and conclusions. In terms of the affective factors, it's clear writing is not their best ability and that is a challenging ability for these postgraduate students. And also that writing confidence is not as good as we wish. Many of the participants are weak and experience insecurity and stress. So confidence is a factor that is crucial because it influences positively on the development of academic writing and also academic writers, because it boosts interest, attention, perseverance, effort, self-worth as writers, resilience when struggling, and also contributes to reduced anxiety. Otherwise, the lack of confidence inhibits the students' effort, achievement of their goals, and also the way that they will write. In terms of proficiency and reading, it's clear that the proficiency that they have is not enough to write in a better way. Therefore, they need to improve their English proficiency. One way to help their students develop their writing ability is connecting their reading ability with writing. And one way could be using the theory proposed by Michael Boone, which is reading like a writer. And this theory implies that the students need to imagine how the text was created, and also they need to read and identify the structures or the structural or rhetorical parts of the text. And they need to read and consider the text as a model while they are creating a new one. But it's important to remark that reading and writing are two abilities that are not tacitly acquired. The students need to be explicitly oriented the use and development of them. In terms of writing processes, it's clear that many of the participants are interested on the final processes such as editing and polishing, or that they are focused on the final product of the writing. This may be because the instruction that they have been experiencing in the EFL context might be focused on the product and correcting what is wrong on the text and grading the final product. And they have not many opportunities on receiving feedback or help them be aware of how they arrive to the final product that they produced. So we need that the learners write effectively rather than only correctly. They need to receive feedback on their ongoing writing, and also they need to be helped to turn into better academic writers that are self-directed writers. This means they would be able to monitor their progress, identify their strengths and weaknesses or the areas of need, and they also may be engaged on different writing processes such as brainstorming, drafting, revising, and editing. In terms of the text features, it's clear that they are aware of different aspects such as the language or the function of the language, the structure of the text, but they need to be also aware of and strengthen the knowledge of these different aspects. Also, they need to be aware and strengthen the differences between the L1 and the L2, the L1 and the L2 writing processes, and also the context, the rhetorical structure of the text, and also the registers and the modes of delivery of the language. Because many times we tend to write as when we are speaking, regardless that the way that we write is or the language that we use in academic text is different to the language that we use when we are speaking. In terms of time and opportunity, it's important to remark that the learner should be aware that writing is a time-consuming ability and that they will need to invest a lot of time and effort while writing and developing their academic writing skills in English. And they need to be aware that an 80-hour course is not enough to learn academic writing or develop as better writers. They need more opportunities to write in English in their fields of study. They need support since early stages of their writing. Just to conclude, I would like to say that we need to craft more academic writing courses in English. And we need to craft these courses based on the specific needs of the target community in the EFL context, considering the language, considering the processes in which they need most support, considering the texts that they are relevant at their studies, and also considering the proficiency that they have at the time when the instruction is given. We need also to follow up their writing throughout their studies, and also since early stages of their writing. All these strategies and suggestions may contribute to develop more confident academic writers rather than only better writing or better products. Thank you very much for listening. I would be happy to answer any question as soon as I am allowed to do so. Thank you very much for your attention.